As a society, we depend on a healthy ecosystem to do many things. Healthy ecosystem helps to purify the air so that we can breathe properly. It sequesters carbon dioxide for climate regulation. It recycles natural resources like water and pollinates crops so that we do not go hungry. Preserving and maintaining a healthy ecosystem is crucial for protecting the health from dangerous threats such as climate change. Research has shown that climate change is a major problem caused by human activities like deforestation, bush burning, and burning of fossil fuels, among others.
When we're talking about bush burning, we're saying that we're removing the topmost vegetation of the soil through the process of burning. Most of the time, we want to clear it and then put fire into it because we want to carry out one activity or the other that requires land use.
Culturally, bush burning is a practice among crop farmers, nomadic herders, and hunters in Nigeria. Crop farmers engage in the act at the onset of planting season while preparing the land for cultivation. Nomadic herders use bush burning during dry season when there is scarcity of grass for their animals to enable speedy growth of weeds for grazing. Hunters set bush on fire to aid hunting. Bush burning has become the easiest and most convenient method, quite often employed in agricultural practices as well as in environmental management.
To the farmers, they find it so convenient to burn bush because they want the area to be less tedious when they are clearing for next plantation, for next farming season. But this is destroying even the nutrients that they need, and they don't take cognizance of all this.
Burning of bush is risky and can be difficult to control. In the process of trying to burn a small portion of the land, the fire could spread to other areas. What are the dangers associated with these?
When you destroy the habitats of these animals, some of them will die because not all of them will be able to run out of those holes where they are hiding. It depletes their population, and this leads to extinction of species. So fire causes a great deal of damage to wildlife species.
Plants are nature's machinery to save the planet, to absorb carbon dioxide and put nutrients back into the soil and give us oxygen in our neighborhoods. If we wake up suddenly and set these plants on fire, that machinery that helps to neutralize and clean our air, we have just destroyed it.
Dry season, usually from November to March, is the period of the year when bush burning is on the increase, thereby causing rodents and other wild animals to run away from their natural habitats into people's homes. The rodents common during this period are rats. Rats are destructive and have a negative impact on the environment hygiene.
So the rodents, in an attempt to survive, because somebody has destroyed their habitat, will look for the nearest places where they can get shelter and food, and this likely is the human residence. So that's how these animals move from the bushes into human residential areas. But as they also move, they move with their diseases, with their parasites.
Data published by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control reveal that between 2016 and 2023, the vast bulk of Lassa fever cases have been recorded between December and May.
At times when you burn the bushes, some animals that were not in contact with human beings, they're bid to run away and also look for abode. They run into our houses. Take for instance the multi-mammate rats. And these rats, when their urine or droplets come in contact with your food, they cause horrible zoonotic diseases like Lassa fever. Okay? And so there's so much harm that happens with bush burning, more harm than good.
Bush burning has contributed to deforestation with its associated problems. What are the effects of bush burning on the soil, and how does it affect food production?
It will destroy the structure of the soil, the formation of the soil. it will lead to loss of nutrients in the soil. And of course, when you have loss of nutrients, it will affect your productivity. Whatever crop you plant, they will not grow as well as they should, and on the long run, it will affect yield. And when yield is affected, it affects food.
There are laws enacted by the government to prevent bush burning and dangers associated with it. The National Environmental Control of Bush, Forest Fire and Open Burning Regulation 2011 prescribes punishment for people who engage in the act of bush burning and forest fire. How well are these laws enforced? What are the challenges affecting the implementation of these laws?
It's one thing to have the laws. It's another thing to create the right awareness. The popularization of these laws is very important. If you go to the farmer in the village and ask him if there are laws, does he know? What is the position of the environment when it comes to our national budgets? What is the place of the environment when it comes to key things we consider as priorities in this country? The environment has not been given its rightful position as far as this country is concerned.
There are many existing laws that guard against these practices. It's not enough to just have the laws. You need personnel. You need to have enough personnel that will ensure that these laws are put into place.
What should be the role of stakeholders in sensitizing the public on the dangers posed by bush burning as it relates to disease spread and environmental hazard?
The environmental health officer should be able to carry out monitoring and coordination of some of the activities in the environment, like the one we are talking about. When they move from time to time to various places, they will be able to ascertain the areas that are posing threats and dangers to the lives of the people. Not only people, other beneficiaries of the environment, like the ecosystem.
How best can bush burning be avoided or controlled?
Adopt alternative method instead of bush burning. What are the alternative methods that we can adopt? Number one, mechanical clearing instead of bush burning. We can adopt what we call mulching on the soil instead of bush burning. When you mulch the soil, in turns, you regain the fertility of the land. Not only that, you enrich its facility as well. Then, composting can also be applied.
There are other things that we can also do. We have this organic material that is called briquette. Briquette is from the word brick, and we use plant materials like farm residues, like maybe rice husk, groundnut shells, including other vegetation, other materials can be used to produce briquette. And briquette burns slowly, it has low carbon, it can be used in cooking, but releasing very little carbon to the atmosphere. So it's more eco-friendly. Another thing that we can also use all this vegetation after clearing them, instead of burning them, is to use them to produce what we call biochar. It's a form of charcoal, but it's different from charcoal. It's neater, it's cleaner, it's more eco-friendly. We can also use those mass, the debris, to produce all these things. And all these things are more useful and more eco-friendly to us instead of just setting fire and burning arbitrarily.
It is important to note that bush burning pose a serious danger to soil, the environment, human health, and wildlife habitats, and should be discouraged in order to build a healthy ecosystem and guide against climate change.